Hello and welcome back to Nocturnal Notes. My name is Sydney. I will be your host. And today we're going to be talking about something that I very much love. What else is new? This is my podcast, so I get to talk about whatever I want. And most of the time, it's things that I love. Before we start, I have a few housekeeping things, I guess, to talk about. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching my episodes so far. I have really appreciated everyone reaching out and saying how much they like me. That makes me feel good. So yeah, thanks for listening so far. In case you didn't know, I am going to be posting all of my I just burped. I hope you didn't hear that. I'm not releasing. I'm not erasing that part of the podcast. You get to hear that I burped. I am going to be posting all my episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. I do also have a few other like random podcast platforms. I want to say like iHeartRadio, Samsung Podcasts. There's a few other places I'm posting just the audio. But if you're an audio listener, Spotify and Apple Podcasts are probably the most popular place that you'll find me. However, if you do want the visual version of my podcast, I do film myself with a camera as well. So if you want to see my face, and sometimes I'll post images if I'm doing kind of deep dive type things, I do post that on my YouTube as well. So if you want to watch me burp, then go to YouTube. Anyways, I also want to make a note. I'm trying to post these every Friday. That's my intent. Now, I don't always do everything that I intend to do. Sometimes I have fantasies and ideas in my head. I intend to do my homework. I intend to go to bed before midnight. It's 11, and I'm just starting recording this. So if I don't post on a Friday, just know, oops, I'm trying my best. But yeah, hopefully I can keep up with the every Friday situation. That's the goal, okay? Also, the vinyl wall has changed. So, you clicked on this podcast episode, you saw the title, so you kind of know what's going on over here. But I got Speak Now, stolen / regular version. I got the Twilight movie soundtrack. And then I have Speak Now Taylor's version with our little bat friend right there. Also, does anyone want to name the bat? Does the bat have a name? Or is the bat just here? For a second I was thinking like, oh, maybe the bat needs to be called Nocturnal. Like maybe Nocturnal the Bat. But I don't know. Maybe that doesn't feel right. So let me know if you have a name for my bat on the wall who flaps in our background of the videos. Anyways, that's about it for housekeeping. Let's dive right into what we're going to be talking about today, which is my favorite song by Taylor Swift, okay? My favorite song by Taylor Swift of all time. Now I like a lot of songs by Taylor Swift, okay? But my number one, and the song that I've claimed to be my number one for multiple years now, is a little track on an album called Speak Now. The song is called Haunted. Now, if you haven't heard that song before, I think you should go to jail, but it's okay. We can fix that, okay? But before we talk about specifically the song Haunted, I want to talk about Speak Now, because I'm wearing my Speak Now cardigan today, I guess, and to show that I'm a real fan. But Speak Now is my favorite Taylor Swift album. I really love Folklore. I really love the Tortured Poets Department. I really love like all of Taylor's albums. But Speak Now is one that I have just emotionally latched myself onto. I have a lot of like childhood memories with Speak Now. One that comes to mind is actually one that has been shared on a podcast before. If you like Taylor Swift content, I recommend a podcast called 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. This story I shared on that podcast actually in the past. But I, as a child, really liked the song Better Than Revenge. Perhaps I was a spiteful and evil child, I don't know. But I used to dance around my room and play Better Than Revenge from Speak Now on my dad's iPod Nano. It's like the iPod that goes like this. You have to like move your thumb around to like get to the right place. Is that iPod Nano? I don't, it's been too long. Um but I used to blast that song and a lot of songs on Speak Now, but specifically Better Than Revenge. I remember there's a lyric in the song that says she is better known for the things that she does on the mattress. Okay? And I was 10, remember, when this song came out and when this was on my dad's iPod. And I remember listening to that lyric, she's better known for the things that she does on the mattress. And my innocent mind said, "Oh, that woman is better known or is known for being an incredible sleeper. Because what else does one do in bed besides sleep as a 10-year-old, right? Like, oh, she must be the most incredible sleeper that they've ever seen on this side of the Mississippi. Or also maybe she jumps on the bed in an incredible fashion that we've never seen before." That's what I thought. I was like, "Oh, she's better known for the things that she does on the mattress. She's Sleeping Beauty." Right? Like that's for my anyways, I just grew up with the album Speak Now. That's one that I remember listening to as a kid. I remember listening to Mine, Sparks Fly, Enchanted, Mean. There's just a lot of songs on there that really spoke to me. My favorite color's purple. What a coincidence that that's the color that kind of symbolizes the album. I also really connect with kind of like pop, punk, rock music, and this is really Taylor Swift's pop, punk, or rock album. Some people think, oh, Taylor Swift needs to do a rock album. She already has. It's called Speak Now. Have you heard the song Better Than Revenge? Have you heard the song Story of Us? It's on Speak Now. I think Speak Now also just feels very whimsical to me. Enchanted is a fantastic example of that. Like it just feels like a magical fairy tale princess, and I connect to that a lot. I also just really love that Speak Now is her only solo written album. It's the only album that she completely wrote every single song by herself. She didn't have any help. She doesn't have any co-writers. Sure, she had producers who were helping her make sure the album sounded the way she wanted it to sound, but she wrote all of the lyrics herself. She didn't have any help with that. And I think that's very admirable. I love that she just loves proving a point. And people were saying she didn't write her own songs, so she wrote an entire album all by herself just to prove you guys wrong. Well, those are some of the reasons as to why Speak Now is just my favorite album. But Haunted is my favorite song. Okay, I have really just connected to the drama of the song Haunted. It has an orchestra. There's a lot of strings at the intro of the song, and in the chorus of the song you can hear strings. And if a song has strings, there's a high chance I like it. I love strings. It's kind of rocky. A lot of critics say it sounds like an Evanescence song, perhaps Twilight coded. We'll go into that a little further in detail, but I used to watch, and I still do, the Speak Now tour version of Haunted. She had Haunted on her set list for her Speak Now world tour. I never saw it live because I was 10, but that performance is incredible. She has like a mallet, and she's like banging on this bell. Well, she's not even banging it, because you can see she's not even really hitting it, but it looks like she is. It looks like she's hitting this bell, okay? And she has this red dress on, and it kind of looks like either ripped or like burnt. It's very dramatic, and it's red, and there's kind of like a leather part of the dress. And then there's also like aerial, like silk, people on silks hanging from the ceiling. It's a very dramatic performance, okay? And she is performing the song like her life depends on it. The vocals on this song are unlike any vocals I've heard Taylor Swift do before in my life. I just always I watch that performance like multiple times. If you've never heard Haunted before, I highly recommend looking up the Speak Now World Tour version of Haunted, okay? Haunted also was my surprise song when I went to the Eras tour because Taylor Swift loves me. What can I say? She loves me. She knew that I was coming to Vancouver night one, and she said, I'm going to give Sydney exactly what she wants, which is Haunted. She mashed up Haunted with Wonderland, and I have a video of it. I don't think I'll ever post the full video because it is so embarrassing. I'm like sobbing and screaming in a way. Anyways, it was my surprise song. So I also just have like an emotional attachment because I feel like Taylor Swift really did choose to sing that song just for me. So Haunted's just my favorite song ever, okay? And as a Swiftie, I feel it is my right to have kind of chaotic theories. You know how Swifties are. They constantly think that Reputation Taylor's version's coming out every 5 seconds. They're looking for Easter eggs in music videos. They are, they're just chaotic. We have a lot of theories. We have to know which song is about who, and all this fun stuff, right? I normally don't subscribe to a lot of that. Sometimes I like to clown a little bit and look into the theories or whatnot, see what the people are saying. But most of the time, I think that that's a little bit of craziness. But except for one theory, okay? This is a theory that I believe wholeheartedly, unironically, I believe this theory, okay? And this theory is that the song Haunted off of the album Speak Now was supposed to be on the New Moon soundtrack. Why, yes, New Moon, the second book or second movie from the Twilight saga. And I'm going to give you 4 good reasons as to why this is true. You can choose to believe me, you can choose not to believe me, but just know that I believe this to be true, okay? I truly, truly do. I believe that this song was supposed to be on New Moon, the movie soundtrack, okay? Now, reason number 1 is that Taylor Swift happens at the time to be best friends with a little girl named Hayley Williams from a band called Paramore. Okay, if you know anything about Twilight, in the first movie soundtrack, you know that Paramore was all over that. Okay, the creative director, I guess the person who created the soundtrack for Twilight, her name was Alexandria something, and she went to Stephanie Meyers and she said, okay, I'm making the soundtrack for the first movie, for the Twilight movie. What were you kind of thinking? Do you have any songs that you are hoping for, or any artists that you want us to reach out to? And she was really into like indie rock, which, when I first hear about this, I'm kind of like, okay, so this like 30-year-old mom who's writing a book about a vampire is listening to indie rock. And that sounds interesting to me, but also like in a few years, I'm going to be the 30-year-old woman, 30-year-old mom who's listening to indie rock. So I can't judge that much. Stephanie Meyer suggested bands like Muse. She's in love with Muse. So, of course, Muse hopped on the album with the song Supermassive Black Hole. Incredible song that's played during the baseball scene of the first movie in Twilight, right? This person who's creating the soundtrack for Twilight reached out to Hayley Williams of Paramore and asked her to come into her office and just talk about the possibility of her band Paramore getting on this movie soundtrack. This woman, Alexandria, supposedly gave Hayley Williams the book, Twilight, and said, hey, give this a read. Let me know if this is something that you might want to hop on, that your band might want to write a few songs for. And Hayley did, and she said that she just connected to the book immediately. She immediately connected to the main character, Bella Swan, and said, why, yes, I would love to hop on this train and I'd love to write a few songs. And she did. She wrote 2 songs for the first movie soundtrack. One song is called I Caught Myself. That's a great song. Okay, but the song that I need to get tattooed on my body, the song that I will never get sick of ever, is a little song called Decode. Okay? Now, that is a song that not only made the Twilight soundtrack what it was, but it launched Paramore's career, okay? Now, Paramore was a pretty well-known rock band. I mean, back in the time, they had a few songs that were out there, but really, Decode and the Twilight soundtrack launched their career. And Hayley has said that before. I mean, they came out with a music video that came along with this. They were on Billboard Hot 100 for Decode. They were nominated for a Grammy for the best song written for a movie for that year. It was huge, okay? In fact, Paramore had a little bit of resentment actually for a little while after releasing those songs with the Twilight movie, because they were often getting referred to as the Twilight Band. And they didn't really like that. They're like, hey, why can't you like call us Paramore? But everyone just kept referring to them as the Twilight Band. Hayley had a huge part in the first movie soundtrack, okay? And around this same time, this is what, 2008, 2009, they meet. Hayley Williams and Taylor Swift meet. Hayley Williams told a story about them meeting for the first time recently on Jimmy Fallon, either last year or the year before. They met at Timbaland's Grammy after party in the year 2009. Hayley Williams said that she was nervous to go to this party. Obviously, Timbaland's party was a big deal to her. And she was feeling nervous and like she didn't have a lot of people to talk to. And Andrea Swift, or Taylor Swift's mother, approached Hayley Williams and said, hey, I have this daughter who's here at this party. She doesn't really have a lot of friends in the music industry. Can I give you her number so maybe you guys can hang out, talk about what it's like to be a young girl in the music industry right now? And Hayley said, well, sure, yeah, why not? And the rest is history. I mean, they were great pals after that. Taylor Swift even said, that she had this one quote that I remember in an interview when talking about her relationship with Hayley Williams, that they weren't just friends because they were both young girls in the music industry. They were friends for the sake of being friends. I mean, they had a lot of similarities. Yes, they were two young women in the music industry. They were both from Nashville. They were both writing very introspective, personal songs to guitars, right? But at the end of the day, they just became friends because they liked each other, because they connected to each other, because they're both very kind, very, I guess, thoughtful people, right? Hayley Williams once presented Taylor with a CMA award, I want to say in 2009 or 2010. Taylor Swift went to a Paramore concert in 2009. What song was she screaming along to, singing the words to, every single word? Well, yes, that would be Decode from Twilight, right? Hayley Williams has also said that Speak Now is her favorite Taylor Swift album. Also, the title track on her album, Speak Now, the song Speak Now, is supposedly about Hayley Williams and her former boyfriend and bandmate, Josh, is it Farrow, I want to say? Farro. When Taylor was talking about the inspiration for the song Speak Now, she talked about how she was talking to a friend whose ex was getting married, and Taylor said, oh, are you going to speak now? And her friend was like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, oh, like, run up to that altar, say, speak now or forever hold your peace, interrupt the wedding and run away with him. And just so happened that the only friend that we can think of that this could be about is Hayley, because her ex-boyfriend was getting married that same year in 2010 when the song was released. And Taylor even is photographed at this wedding, at Josh Farrow's wedding with Hayley Williams. Anyways, all that I'm trying to say here is Taylor and Hayley obviously were connected at this time when she was writing Speak Now, after Speak Now. To me, it makes sense that as she's writing these songs, like Speak Now, or all these other songs on the album, that one track could possibly be inspired by Twilight, just as Hayley's song Decode and I Caught Myself were for Twilight, right? Maybe Taylor was a fan of Twilight. She thought, hey, well, I have this connection with Hayley, who wrote songs for Twilight. Maybe I could try writing a song for Twilight. I know the next movie is coming out, New Moon, so perhaps I can ask Hayley if she can get me in touch with this girl, Alexandria, who's did the soundtrack for the first movie, see if maybe they'd be interested in a track that I make, right? That's just where my brain goes. Okay, that's reason number one as to why I think it's possible that this song could have been for the Twilight soundtrack, right? Reason number two as to why I think Haunted could have been written for Twilight or for New Moon is because she happened to be dating an actor at the time by the name of Taylor Lautner. They met on the set of Valentine's Day, which was filmed in July of 2009. They dated from July of 2009 until December of 2009, because back to December, hello. The filming for New Moon actually wrapped up in May of 2009. He had just finished filming for New Moon, right? So it's very possible that this other connection to this film, New Moon, might have inspired a little something when she was writing her songs, right? Taylor Lautner was kind of at the height of his fame at this time. He was portraying Jacob Black in the film New Moon, right? I think it's possible that Taylor Lautner was telling, while they were dating, was telling Taylor all about New Moon. Maybe he said, well, this is what it's going to be about. I'm sure she read the books, as everyone did at the time. Everyone had read Twilight at the time. And she said, oh, well, that might be interesting for me to write a song about that. I don't know. I wonder what it'd be like to write from that character's point of view. I just think it's interesting that she happened to be dating Jacob from Twilight when a song that sounds like it's from Twilight came out. Now, number three, and this is one of the most damning pieces of evidence to me, okay? This is a piece of evidence that is hard for anyone to turn down, okay? Now, the director of New Moon, his name is Chris Weitz, okay? He's also the director of American Pie. He was on a podcast called The Twilight Effect, okay? It came out August 16th. I want to say either last year or this year, pretty recently, okay? And he was talking about the making of New Moon, obviously, and he revealed on this podcast that him, Chris Weitz, and Taylor Swift at the time of 2010, had the same manager, okay? And he said that his manager reached out to him when they were filming for New Moon and said, hey, I also work with a little country star named Taylor Swift, and she is interested in appearing in your film, New Moon. Is that something that you could work out? And Chris said, wow, that sounds awesome. I love Taylor Swift. That would be way too distracting to have a country pop star in the background of my film. So I'm going to say no. And he said that he kind of regretted it. He said, I could have been hanging out with Taylor Swift. She probably was like, what a jerk. Why won't he let me just be in the background of this film that I like? But I think that's crazy that was revealed, that Taylor Swift liked New Moon so much, or liked Twilight so much, that she asked her manager, hey, I heard that you work with the director of New Moon. Do you think that you could get me into the background of it or something? Do you think that we could work something out? And to me, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, so if she is interested enough in Twilight that she's asking her manager if she can be in the background of New Moon, surely she also could have asked, hey, are you interested in this song that is inspired by New Moon? I think it's possible. In fact, I think it's very possible. My fourth and last, I guess, piece of evidence, before we start, we have to talk about the storyline to New Moon. I'm sure you all know the first story of Twilight, so I'm not going to get into that because you should already know that. But New Moon, the storyline of New Moon is Bella and Edward are still dating, okay? The movie opens with Bella's birthday, and an accident happens, okay? She like cuts her I think she gets a paper cut on wrapping paper for when she's unwrapping her presents for her birthday, and she gets blood on her, and Edward's like stepbrother Jasper almost eats her, okay? Because blood comes out and he's very weak, okay? And because of this whole episode that happens at the start of New Moon, Edward says, let's go for a walk in the woods. And he breaks up with her. Okay. He says, look, I don't think we can do this. I'm going to hurt you. So we need to break up. Okay. And she was like, no, please no. I know too much. First of all, I know you're a vampire and everything, and I can't possibly leave you. And he says, well, you're going to have to. And he walks away, and she is devastated, okay? There's a very famous scene in New Moon where Bella is sitting on a chair in her bedroom, and she stays in that chair, like probably not literally, but symbolically, for months on end, 4 months, okay? She's sitting in the same place, and the camera just spins around her, just symbolizing how depressed she is and how broken she is after Edward broke up with her, right? And she also emails Alice multiple times, Edward's sister, right? Saying, where are you? Please come back, right? Anyways, the only thing that really takes her out, Bella, out of this depression is she meets up with an old friend, Jacob Black, okay? They build bikes together. She kind of builds a little connection with him, and he has a crush on her, Jacob does. And Bella kind of likes him, but nothing will ever replace Edward to her, right? That's basically the plot of New Moon, right? So now I'm going to be going into the evidence. For my last point of evidence as to why this song should have been or could have been in the New Moon soundtrack, I'm going to go over every lyric, all of the lyrics for the entire song of Haunted. So the song opens up with the line, you and I walk a fragile line. I have known it all this time, but I never thought I'd live to see it break. Okay, pause. You and I walk a fragile line. I have known it all this time. So to me, this means you and I are walking a tightrope. Our relationship is complicated, it's risky, it's fragile. I think those are definitely things that Bella was feeling about Edward at the time, right? You and I have a complicated relationship because I'm human and you're a vampire, and you could eat me and kill me and suck my blood and I'd be dead, right? I have known it all this time. I've known that this is a bad idea. We've said it's a bad idea. But I never thought I'd live to see it break. I never thought that you would walk me into those woods and that you'd break my heart and say, we shouldn't do this. We can't be together. Next lyrics are, it's getting dark and it's all so quiet. I can't trust anything now. And it's coming over you like it's all a big mistake. Okay, let's go back. It's getting dark and it's all so quiet. Now that reminds me of when Edward leaves her in the woods after breaking up with her and breaking her heart. It gets dark and it gets quiet. Okay? She's left in the woods to be by herself. Symbolically and literally. And she can't trust anything now. I mean, she just had the person that she loves most just absolutely rip her heart out, right? I think that lyric, I can't trust anything now, really just symbolizes her numbness, right, to this whole situation. And it's coming over you like it's all a big mistake. He told her in the woods, look, this was a terrible mistake. Why did we think that this could work? Why did we think that a vampire and a human could be dating? That was stupid of us. That was a mistake for us to get together, right? She continues with, I'm holding my breath, won't lose you again. Some things made your eyes go cold. Now this reminds me specifically when Taylor says, some things made your eyes go cold. This is Bella saying, something changed your mind. Jasper almost eating me at my birthday party made your eyes go cold. Or maybe it was something else that changed your mind and made you go cold on me when you were so in love with me 2 weeks ago, right? Something made you change your mind and give up and leave us, right? Now we're getting into the chorus, okay? The chorus says, come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Now that right there, she's saying, don't leave me, Edward. Don't leave everything that we've created. Don't leave our relationship that we've worked so hard to create and to be together. I thought I had you figured out. I thought we figured out how to live as human and vampire relationship. I thought that we had it down. Yeah, we had a little mix up, but I thought I had you figured out. I thought that I knew that you wanted to be with me and I wanted to be with you. Next lyric. Something's gone terribly wrong. You're all I wanted. Now, you're all I wanted? Have you heard any lyric that sounds more like Bella Swan in the entire world? In fact, let me read an exact quote from the movie New Moon. When they're in the woods, she literally says word for word, I just can't live in a world where you don't exist. I mean, that's basically exactly what she said. You're all I wanted. I can't live in a world where you're not here. Next lyrics. Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. I can't breathe whenever you're gone, and I can't turn back. Now I'm haunted. I mean, come on. She's saying, don't leave me. I thought I had you figured out. I can't even breathe whenever you're gone, which if you can see how Bella reacts for the 4 months after Edward left her, she can't even breathe whenever Edward's gone. And she can't turn back. We can't turn back what happened. We can't turn back the fact that you left me. And I'm haunted. I love the word haunted because she's saying, no matter how hard I try and scrub this situation off of me, no matter how hard I try and get an exorcism of this ghost away from me, I can't. I'm haunted forever. I will forever be scarred. I will forever be disturbed from this relationship. And also, haunted, another thing that says haunted, or that also the word haunted kind of implies a ghost, right? Haunted by ghosts. You want to know who was haunted by a ghost? Bella. You want to know who that ghost was? Edward. Do you remember that? In the movie, Edward appears as ghosts every once in a while to tell Bella to stop trying to kill herself. Basically, she's literally haunted by Edward. Literally. And metaphorically and emotionally and spiritually, okay? Next lyric. Stood there and watched you walk away from everything we had, but I still mean every word I said to you. I mean, come on. I stood there and I watched you walk away from me in the woods, from everything that we had, and I still meant every word that I said to you, Edward. Now, this is where things get cuckoo bananas, okay? The next lyrics are, he will try to take away my pain, and he just might make me smile. But the whole time, I'm wishing he was you instead. Huh. He will try to take away my pain? Jacob Black will try to take away my pain? Well, absolutely. And he just might make me smile. I mean, Jacob Black definitely made her smile. They had good times together. They went to the movies. They made a bike. They rode around on those freaking dirt bikes. They had a good time. But the whole time, I'm wishing he was you instead. Let me read you another quote from New Moon, okay? In case you're just refusing to believe this. When Jacob kind of starts to hit on her a little bit in New Moon, Bella says to Jacob, I love you, Jake. So please don't make me choose, 'cause it'll be him. It's always been him, in regards to Edward. That sounds like the exact same thing. Don't make me choose, 'cause it will be him. It's always been him. But the whole time, I'm wishing he was you instead. Come on. Next lyrics. Oh, I'm holding my breath. Won't see you again. Something keeps me holding on to nothing. I'm holding my breath. I won't see you again. The reality is, you're long gone, Edward. But something keeps me holding on to nothing. In my head, I think I'm still emailing Alice saying, Hey, what's up? This is what I'm up to. Please come back. Something keeps me emailing Alice. Something keeps me attached to you, Edward. I can't stop thinking about you. And then we go to the chorus again. Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Something's gone terribly wrong. You're all I wanted. Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Can't breathe whenever you're gone. I can't turn back now. I'm haunted. Now we're getting to the bridge, okay? I know. I just know that you're not gone. You can't be gone. No. Now, this just sounds exactly like what was going through Bella's mind the entire 4 months that she was depressed, sitting on her butt, doing nothing, just dying inside. You're not gone. You can't be gone. There's no way that our love, our relationship, our life that we dreamed of together is gone. It's a very dramatic, very teenage fantasy thing to say. You're not gone. You can't be gone. Right? Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought I had you figured out. Something's gone terribly wrong. Won't finish what you started. You've started this love between us, Edward, and you won't finish what you started. You just left me here to continue being in love with you. Come on, don't leave me like this. I thought you had you figured out. Can't breathe whenever you're gone. Can't go back. Now I'm haunted. You and I walk a fragile line. I have known it all this time. I never thought I'd live to see it break. I never thought I'd see it. I never thought Edward would walk away from me in those woods and break up. Okay? Now, tell me that song and those lyrics aren't Twilight. Tell me that song isn't the plot of New Moon, because it is. That song is the plot to New Moon. Okay? If you don't believe me, you need to listen to the song and you need to watch New Moon and you'll change your mind. Okay? I've seen New Moon multiple times. I've seen New Moon recently, okay? And I'm telling you that song is the plot of New Moon. And I'm telling you, why would Taylor Swift be BFFs with Hayley Williams and have that thought not even cross her mind of, oh, my best friend made a song for Twilight, why can't I? And why would the thought not cross her mind of, oh, I'm dating Jacob, the werewolf from Twilight. Why don't I make a song for his movie? Because we're dating and so in love right now. Why wouldn't that happen? Why would she reach out to her manager and ask to join a movie that she was obsessed with and get turned down? That's fine. Why would they turn her down? And the thought wouldn't even cross her mind to offer her a song? I think it would. I really think it would. Now, do I understand why they wouldn't put this song on the New Moon soundtrack? Why, yes. Obviously, the soundtracks for Twilight are very indie, right? I mean, New Moon soundtrack is like Bon Iver, right? And, let's see, what other artists are on there? I happen to have the vinyl right here so I can check. These are the bands that they chose for the New Moon soundtrack. Death Cab for Cutie, The Killers, Muse again, Bon Iver, and then other bands I don't even know. Do you think that they wanted famous country pop star Taylor Swift to join this? Even if the song made perfect sense to go with the movie? No. I think they said Miss Love Story? Nah, I don't think we want her on our film. Thanks though. And that's a shame because that would have been incredible. And the song is freaking perfect for it. Now I convinced you. I'm telling myself that I convinced you because there's no way that I haven't. And even if the song wasn't made for New Moon, even though the timeline lines up, even though everything makes sense up here and in here, maybe the song was just inspired by New Moon. I'll take that, okay? If you don't think that she wrote it for New Moon, that's fine. But if you think that she wrote it about New Moon only, sure, I'll take it. I don't think so. I think that she wanted that song to be on Twilight and it just wasn't, you know? But that's fine. Your homework is to listen to the song Haunted. Appreciate the song Haunted just as much as I do because you need to. It's very good. And your second assignment is to binge the entire Twilight saga again. It's time for you to do that. I've done that recently. I did that a few months ago in the movie theaters. In fact, I have a certificate to prove it. Do you see this? This is my Twilight certificate of completion for my movie marathon for Twilight. Does this look like something that a loser would get? I don't think a loser would get that, okay? I think someone who's incredible at persevering and is a serious Twihard would get this, okay? So, yeah, whether you think that Taylor Swift's song was meant to be for the Twilight soundtrack or not, that's fine. But there's one thing that you can't deny, and that's that Taylor Swift loved Twilight. And she's just like one of us. And I love her for that. I love her delusionalness just as much as our delusionalness. She's just one of us at the end of the day. And I love Taylor Swift. Anyways, thanks for listening to this podcast episode about Haunted. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful night, evening, morning, I don't know. And I'll catch you in the next one. And bye.